What's going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing wonderful. Hope you had a great 4th of July weekend. Hope you were able to spend some quality time with friends, family, check out some fireworks. In this video, I'm going to give you a portfolio update, show how it's performed over the past month, and share all of the dividend income that it's earned as well. My goal is to give you complete transparency into what it's like to actually invest in the stock market. I show you real numbers, real results, both the good and the bad. And really, I hope that it can inspire yourself to start your own investing journey if you haven't already, because I truly do believe that investing in the stock market is one great way to achieve financial freedom. Not the only way, but certainly one of the best. You just need a little time, little patience, perhaps a little bit of luck as well, but you can get there. So right now, the portfolio is valued at about $50,700. We just crossed that 50K mark, so this is actually somewhat of a milestone for me. But the overall performance within the last month, well, we pretty much ended right where we left off. As you can see, we started roughly around 50,600, and then the market took a pretty big dip in early to late June, and then it came all the way back up into where we are today. So very happy to see the market picking back up a little bit here. And just looking at some of the sectors that I have allocated in this portfolio, we can see that most of them are in the green. There are a couple in the red, most notably technology. They were down about 14%, which honestly does seem a little rare because technology has been absolutely killing it over the past few years. At least that's what it seems like. But the biggest loser, at least in this portfolio, was Broadcom. They were down over 25% over the past month. Now they have performed great if you look at all time. In fact, if I switch that over here, you can see they were up over 1,000%, which still honestly boggles my mind. But within the last month, their performance has not been so good. The other tech companies, while they were down, they weren't down as bad. Apple only 2%, Texas Instruments about 5%. It looks like Microsoft was down a little bit more than normal, about 12% from them. But overall, just a brutal month for technology, and that just happens sometimes. I know there's a lot of fluctuations going on with AI right now, so that's making a big impact in the tech world. But with that said, I'm still very, very confident in all of the tech companies that I have. I'm going to continue to hold them. But looking at some of the biggest gainers, industrials, they were up 13%, and most notably, this was led by Genuine Parts Company, up 34%. Now, I believe these guys are going to do some sort of company split, so this may actually become two stock tickers. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work yet. I didn't do a ton of research into it, but that seemed to have had some sort of impact on the pricing of this company. But then you look at other companies like Fastenal and Waste Management, they were up 8 and 9% respectively. So that's pretty good to see from these industrial companies. Typically, they don't see major growth like this. They're pretty slow and steady for the most part. And then we also had a pretty nice month from healthcare as well. Eli Lilly is my biggest weighted stock in this particular pie, and they were up over 14%. And then you had Johnson & Johnson and AbbVie up 18 and 21% respectively. So it seems like a lot of positive movement is happening in healthcare, but overall, those were the biggest losers and gainers. Most other stuff was kind of in that 0 to 5% range. By the way, if you do want to check every single company that I hold, you can check the description of this video, and I have a link to this portfolio from M1 Finance. So if you are interested and want to drill down a little bit deeper, you're more than welcome to do that. But yeah, performance-wise, that was how the last month went. Now, I do want to hop into the dividends and show you what I actually got paid out this month. It all starts off with Aflac. They paid $17.11. Of course, this is a very big insurance company, and they've honestly performed pretty well for me since I've held them. I think I picked them up back in 2020, somewhere around there. So within that time frame, pretty successful. Then next up is healthcare company, Johnson & Johnson, $7.56 from them. ExxonMobil is next. They paid $3.84. And oil has obviously been a big topic of conversation recently with all of the stuff happening with Iran. Seems like things are going in the right direction there, so I guess we'll just wait and see. Coming in next is Eli Lilly, another healthcare company. they paid $3.19. Microsoft, $2.47 from them. 3M, this is a company that's had a little rough patch, but it seems like things are actually getting a little better from them. I know they just had a few big lawsuits, but they paid $2.06. Then we go into Consolidated Edison, utility company, $1.28 from them. Then Realty Income Corp. This is actually a monthly paying real estate investment trust. They paid $6.44. Then McDonald's, $3.74 from them. Home Depot paid out $4.99. Waste Management, they brought in $3.19. BlackRock, a very, very big financial company, they paid $8.83. Then we have a Vanguard ETF. This is their VYM ETF. And performance-wise, this hasn't done as well as some other ETFs like VTI, for example. VYM is still very diversified. They do pay a slightly higher dividend. I think it's somewhere around 2 to 3% right now. But this month, they paid out $17.51. Then SPHD, and this is kind of in that same realm. Probably a little bit higher of a dividend yield, but it does come with the cost of growth in its share price. And honestly, out of all the ETFs that I have today, I just have 3, VTI, VYM, and SPHD. I would probably cut SPHD, but nonetheless, they paid $10.60 this month. And then to round out the month, we got just north of $7 from Brookfield Infrastructure Partners. And then lastly, Broadcom paid out $8.44. So if we add everything up for this month, the total comes to $108.13. And that's actually going to round out the end of Q2 for this fiscal year. And so the dividend payouts for this quarter add up to $277. That's roughly a $25 increase from last quarter. So that's very good to see. For me, I really just been letting the dividends do their thing. I wish I could invest a little bit more cash more frequently into this portfolio, but I just got some other expenses in life that I got to take care of right now. Yes, being an adult does suck at times, but that's just how life is. So that is going to wrap up the video. Thank you all so much for taking the time to check this out. And if you did enjoy this video, feel free to hit that like button. And until next time, take care.